The chamber of the Galactic Assembly hummed with the cold efficiency of alien technology. A vast dome of translucent energy encapsulated the gathering, with the luminescent symbols of hundreds of interstellar civilizations flickering in the air above their representatives. High Arbiter Zarlan, a towering figure with chitinous plates that shimmered in iridescent blues, stood at the center. His voice resonated, carrying a mix of authority and disdain. "It is a curiosity," he began, mandibles clicking in amusement, "that this Earth, so small, so unremarkable, has been admitted to our ranks. Their sentience is a statistical anomaly, and their planet's so-called apex predators are laughable." A ripple of laughter spread through the assembly, echoing off the dome. Scientific analyst Vorax, a wiry, insectoid creature with multifaceted eyes, leaned forward. "Their technological progress is noteworthy," he admitted, his voice clicking like a metronome, "but biologically inferior. Their fauna lack both scale and lethality. Compare their so-called apex predators to the Chlorathian venom serpent or the Zarthian drake, and it becomes clear. Evolution has not been kind to them." Another wave of laughter erupted, punctuated by murmurs of agreement. Glowing holoscreens displayed rotating images of Earth's animals, a lion yawning, a grizzly bear lumbering through a forest, a wolf stalking its prey. Beside these were holograms of alien predators, creatures of nightmare, massive and otherworldly. "And yet," Zarlan continued, his tone mockingly contemplative, "despite their laughable biology, these humans dare claim to be equals in this assembly. Truly, their arrogance is boundless." At the edge of the assembly stood Ambassador Lin Zhao, the lone human in the chamber. She was diminutive compared to her alien counterparts, yet she held herself with an air of quiet confidence. Her tailored diplomatic uniform bore Earth's insignia, and her dark eyes betrayed no emotion as she listened to the ridicule. She clasped her hands behind her back and remained silent. "You seem unbothered by our observations, Ambassador Zhao," Zarlan remarked, his tone laced with mock curiosity. "Surely you have something to say in defense of your world's so-called predators?" Lin Zhao inclined her head slightly, her expression inscrutable. "I find it fascinating," she replied, her voice calm and measured, "how much effort you expend discussing Earth's inadequacies. It's almost as if you're overcompensating." The assembly fell silent, the tension palpable. Zarlan's mandibles flared briefly, but he quickly regained his composure. "A bold statement," he sneered. "But words do not change reality. Perhaps a demonstration is in order, a predator showcase. Let the galaxy witness the true hierarchy of strength." "Agreed," Lin Zhao said, her tone unwavering. "Let's see what the galaxy considers strength." The murmurs of surprise were immediate. Many in the assembly had expected protests or excuses, not such a confident acceptance. Zarlan tilted his head, his curiosity piqued. "You believe your world's creatures can contend with the apex predators of the galaxy?" Lin Zhao allowed the faintest of smiles to curve her lips. "Our predators may surprise you." Zarlan barked a laugh, a sharp, clicking sound that echoed through the chamber. "Then it is settled. Each member will present their most fearsome predator. Let the galaxy see Earth's place in the natural order." The room erupted in chatter as the representatives whispered among themselves, speculating about Earth's potential choices. Lin Zhao stood motionless, her expression calm, as the assembly continued their deliberations. Only Vorax, ever the analyst, observed her with a flicker of unease. As the meeting adjourned, Zarlan approached Lin Zhao, towering over her. "You are either incredibly brave or hopelessly foolish, Ambassador Zhao. I look forward to watching your world's humiliation." Lin Zhao met his gaze without flinching. "We'll see who's humbled, High Arbiter," she said softly, her tone unreadable. Zarlan hesitated for the briefest of moments, then turned and strode away, his chitinous plates clattering with each step. Lin Zhao remained behind, her hands still clasped behind her back. Her expression gave away nothing, but as the last of the aliens filed out, she allowed herself a small, knowing smile. The arena was a marvel of galactic engineering, a vast space where holographic ecosystems came alive in breathtaking detail. The assembly gathered in elevated seats, their collective murmurs brimming with anticipation. At the center, a circular platform shimmered, ready to conjure the simulated habitats for the showcase. High Arbiter Zarlan stood on a raised dais, exuding smug confidence as he addressed the crowd. "Today, we witnessed the pinnacle of evolution," Zarlan declared, his voice reverberating. "Let the apex predators of the galaxy show us the true meaning of dominance. And let Earth learn its place." The first demonstration began, and the aliens roared in approval. A Zarthian drake, its massive form covered in gleaming scales, materialized in the arena. With a guttural snarl, it unleashed a torrent of fire, incinerating holographic prey in a single devastating blast. The crowd erupted in applause, their admiration for the creature's power unrestrained. Next came the Chlorathian venom serpent, a creature of sinuous grace and lethal efficiency. The simulation depicted it coiling around its prey with unnatural speed, sinking its fangs into a simulated animal. Within moments, the prey dissolved into a gelatinous heap. The assembly buzzed with excitement, their respect for the serpent evident. Alien after alien presented their species' predators, each one deadlier and more horrifying than the last. There were creatures with razor-sharp claws, beasts capable of shattering bone with a single strike, and hunters whose stealth rendered them nearly invisible. The air was thick with the aliens' pride, their confidence in the superiority of their worlds unquestioned. When it was Earth's turn, the arena fell silent. Ambassador Lin Zhao stepped forward, her movements deliberate and unhurried. She pressed a command on her console, and the first Earth predator appeared, a lion, its golden mane glowing under the simulated sunlight. The lion prowled through the holographic savanna, stalking its prey with practiced precision. With a burst of speed, it pounced, bringing down its quarry with a swipe of its massive paw. The crowd watched with mild curiosity but no real awe. "Adequate," Zarlan said, his tone dismissive. "A basic predator. Nothing we haven't seen before." Next came a wolf, sleek and efficient as it hunted in a coordinated pack, and then a grizzly bear, its immense strength on full display as it overpowered its opponent. Yet, for all their prowess, the aliens remained unimpressed. They muttered among themselves, deriding the creatures as unremarkable and predictable. Lin Zhao stood unperturbed. "I'm glad you've enjoyed the warm-up," she said, her voice calm but laced with quiet confidence. "Now, let me introduce Earth's most tenacious predator." With a tap on her console, a new creature appeared in the arena. The assembly leaned forward, expecting something grand, only to recoil in confusion. A small, squat animal stood in the simulated desert, its black and white fur stark against the golden sands. It sniffed the air, seemingly oblivious to the audience's scrutiny. Zarlan's mandibles clicked in disbelief. "What is that?" he asked, struggling to suppress a laugh. "The honey badger," Lin Zhao replied, her expression unchanging. Known for its relentless determination and unmatched fearlessness. The crowd erupted in laughter. Mocking remarks echoed through the chamber, questioning if the humans were playing some sort of joke. Lin Zhao remained silent, her hands clasped behind her back as she waited for the simulation to begin. The honey badger was pitted against the Chlorathian venom serpent, one of the galaxy's deadliest predators. The serpent appeared, its scales glistening like liquid metal, and slithered toward the small mammal with lethal intent. The honey badger watched, its small frame seemingly insignificant against the looming threat. The serpent struck, its fangs sinking into the badger's side. The crowd expected the creature to collapse instantly, but instead, it retaliated with shocking ferocity. The honey badger twisted, biting into the serpent's neck with bone-crunching force. It clawed and tore, ignoring the venom coursing through its veins. The assembly's laughter faded, replaced by stunned silence. The serpent coiled tightly around the badger, attempting to crush it, but the small predator refused to yield. It broke free, bloodied but unbowed, and delivered the killing blow, disemboweling the serpent with its claws. Even as the serpent's holographic form dissipated, the honey badger continued to snarl, ready for more. Zarlan stared at the scene, his mandibles frozen mid-twitch. Vorax's multifaceted eyes blinked rapidly, his analytical mind struggling to process what he had just witnessed. "This creature," Vorax finally said, his voice unsteady, is immune to venom? Resistant, not immune, Lin Zhao corrected. It simply doesn't care. Pain, fear, even death, it faces them all without hesitation. The murmurs among the assembly grew louder. Lin Zhao continued, her tone calm but commanding. The honey badger embodies qualities we humans admire: fearlessness, resilience, and an unrelenting will to survive. It doesn't rely on size or strength. Its power lies in its refusal to back down. The crowd erupted in debate, their earlier confidence shaken. Some were fascinated, others skeptical, but none could deny what they had seen. Lin Zhao allowed herself a small smile, knowing this was only the beginning. The chamber buzzed with disbelief as the holographic honey badger's victory over the Chlorathian venom serpent replayed on the arena's central display. Representatives from across the galaxy whispered among themselves, their initial mockery replaced by curiosity and unease. Vorax, the data-obsessed analyst, stepped forward, his multifaceted eyes glinting with determination. This defies logic, Vorax stated, his voice tinged with frustration. Ambassador Zhao, how can such a creature, small, unassuming, biologically fragile, possess such audacity? Such resistance to death? Explain the evolutionary anomaly. Lin Zhao met his gaze, her calm demeanor unwavering. It's not an anomaly, analyst Vorax. It's the product of Earth's evolutionary crucible, a world where survival is a constant battle. Predators evolve to hunt, prey evolve to endure, and every creature fights for its existence. She gestured toward the honey badger's hologram, still snarling in its dormant state. Take this small predator, for example. Its environment demanded tenacity. Facing venomous snakes, larger predators, and harsh climates, it developed the traits you've witnessed: pain tolerance, fearlessness, and an unrelenting drive to survive. Zarlan scoffed from his dais, his mandibles clicking with irritation. A convenient excuse. Such traits are insignificant in the face of true evolutionary superiority. What use is tenacity against overwhelming power? Lin Zhao turned toward him, her expression neutral but her voice sharp. Tenacity, High Arbiter, is often underestimated. But it has carried both this creature and my species through challenges your so-called superior predators would never endure. The assembly grew silent. Lin Zhao continued, her voice calm but resonant. The honey badger isn't just an emblem of Earth's fauna. It mirrors the human spirit, unyielding in the face of adversity. She stepped to the center of the chamber, addressing the crowd as a whole. Humans have faced extinction-level events, natural disasters that reshaped our world. We've endured plagues, wars, and the vast emptiness of space. At every step, we adapted, persevered, and thrived, not because we were the strongest or fastest, but because we refused to give up. She paused, letting her words sink in before continuing. Consider our journey into space. We are a species bound to a fragile world, with no claws, no venom, and no scales to protect us. Yet we carved a path among the stars, not through brute strength, but through resilience and ingenuity. Like the honey badger, we are relentless. We overcome. Her words hung in the air, a stark contrast to the aliens' earlier ridicule. Some representatives nodded, their perspectives shifting as they listened. But Zarlan remained unmoved, his derision visible. Fine words, Ambassador Zhao, Zarlan said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. But words alone do not prove strength. Let us see how your Earth predator fares against a true apex being. Lin Zhao inclined her head. As you wish. The arena's simulation shimmered, dissolving the previous scene and materializing a new one. The terrain was harsher now, a rocky expanse under a blood-red sky. In the center stood the Zarthian drake, a massive creature towering over the honey badger's diminutive form. Its scales glistened like molten metal, and its eyes burned with a predatory glow. A collective murmur swept through the assembly, many already predicting the outcome. The battle began. The drake roared, shaking the arena as it lunged at the honey badger, its fiery breath scorching the ground. The honey badger dodged with surprising speed, launching itself at the drake's leg and tearing into the softer flesh beneath its scales. The drake retaliated, slamming its massive tail into the honey badger, sending it tumbling across the rocky terrain. Bloodied but undeterred, the honey badger rose and charged again, its claws and teeth finding every vulnerable spot in the drake's defenses. Even as the larger predator battered it with claws and fire, the honey badger fought on, unrelenting. The crowd watched in stunned silence. The Zarthian drake, for all its overwhelming power, began to falter under the honey badger's relentless assault. Though it ultimately overpowered and crushed the smaller creature, the damage was undeniable. The drake limped, its once pristine scales marred by deep gashes, its movements slower and more labored. The simulation ended, and the arena was silent. Lin Zhao turned to the assembly, her voice steady. The honey badger was never meant to win that fight. Its strength lies not in victory but in its refusal to accept defeat. Even when faced with a foe far beyond its size and power, it fought until the end. That, esteemed representatives, is resilience. Vorax broke the silence, his tone less critical and more contemplative. It is remarkable. A creature that disregards its limitations. It fights beyond reason. Others began to murmur their agreement, their earlier derision replaced by a grudging respect. Even representatives of apex predator species seemed taken aback, questioning the nature of strength and survival. But Zarlin, still seated on his high dais, refused to yield. A minor predator with delusions of grandeur, he spat. It is an anomaly, nothing more. Lin Zhao met his glare, unshaken. Perhaps. Or perhaps it's a reminder that strength is more than size and power. It's the ability to endure, to fight, and to never give up. Traits, I might add, that extend far beyond this single creature. The assembly remained quiet, the weight of her words settling over them. For the first time, many among the gathered representatives began to view humanity, and its tenacious little predator, not as anomalies, but as forces to be reckoned with. Lin Zhao stood at the center of the assembly chamber, a calm figure in the growing tension. The simulated honey badger's ferocity had shifted the mood, but her message was far from complete. She turned to the crowd, her voice resonant yet measured. What you've witnessed today isn't just about a single creature's defiance of the odds. It's a reflection of something much larger, humanity itself. Like the honey badger, we don't back down, no matter the challenge. But where we truly distinguish ourselves is in our ability to adapt, to think, and to innovate. The crowd murmured, their curiosity piqued. Lin Zhao gestured to a projection of Earth's historical timeline, a holographic display of pivotal moments. Our ancestors, she began, faced predators far stronger and faster than themselves. Lions, wolves, and other apex hunters roamed freely. But humans, fragile as we were, didn't retreat. We adapted. We learned to work together, to turn predators into allies. With a swipe of her hand, the hologram shifted to an image of a wolf beside a human. The wolf, one of Earth's most efficient hunters, became our companion. We tamed it, bred it into dogs, and transformed it from predator to partner. It wasn't strength that achieved this, it was ingenuity. The projection changed again, showing primitive humans wielding spears and tools. We mastered fire, invented tools, and developed strategies that allowed us to stand against creatures far mightier than ourselves. Where brute force failed, intelligence prevailed. High Arbiter Zarlin sneered, his irritation palpable. You claim intelligence as your strength, yet you present crude weapons and primitive alliances. Hardly impressive in a galaxy of advanced civilizations. Lin Zhao met his gaze, unflinching. Intelligence isn't measured by technology alone, Arbiter. It's about how we apply what we have. Let me show you. She pressed a command on her console, and the simulation arena transformed again. This time, it depicted a rugged, forested landscape. At the center stood the same towering Zarthian drake, its gleaming scales and fiery breath a reminder of its lethal power. But this time, it wasn't facing a single opponent. A team of humans appeared, armed with rudimentary tools, spears, nets, and fire-hardened stakes. They moved with quiet precision, their eyes scanning the terrain. The assembly watched with intrigue as the humans worked together, laying traps and coordinating their movements. The drake roared, its massive frame crashing through the forest. The humans scattered, each moving with a purpose. One drew the beast's attention, dodging its fiery breath while others flanked it. A hidden pit trap, camouflaged by leaves, sent the drake tumbling into a temporary snare. Before it could escape, the team sprang into action, driving spears into its vulnerable joints. The fight was brutal and desperate. The drake broke free, its tail sweeping through the undergrowth and sending one human flying. But the group didn't retreat. They pressed on, adjusting their strategy with every moment. One hurled a fire-tipped spear into the beast's exposed underbelly, a critical strike that brought it to its knees. The simulation ended with the drake collapsing, defeated. The humans stood battered but victorious, their teamwork and adaptability triumphant over the overwhelming force of the alien predator. The assembly erupted in debate, voices clashing over what they had just witnessed. Zarlin's mandibles clicked furiously as he rose to his feet. "This is manipulation," he barked. "A staged performance to glorify an inferior species." Lin Zhao faced him, her expression calm but her voice steely. "What you witnessed was not fiction. It was a demonstration of the very essence of humanity, the ability to think beyond the immediate, to collaborate, to turn weaknesses into strengths. Intelligence, strategy, and determination, these are the tools we bring to every challenge." She gestured toward the projection of the honey badger, its snarling form frozen mid-attack. The honey badger symbolizes more than ferocity. It embodies a philosophy: we fight harder when the odds are against us. We don't give in to fear or overwhelming power. And we've carried that philosophy into everything we do, whether it's taming wild predators, surviving harsh climates, or reaching for the stars. The murmurs among the assembly shifted. Where there had been skepticism, there was now a glimmer of respect. Even representatives from apex species, those who had mocked humanity's weaknesses, began to reconsider their earlier judgments. But Zarlin wasn't finished. He leaned forward, his voice low and venomous. "You paint yourselves as heroes, Ambassador Zhao. But what I see is a dangerous, unpredictable species. A species that will stop at nothing to dominate." Lin Zhao met his accusation with unwavering resolve. "We are dangerous, Arbiter. But not because we seek domination. We are dangerous because we will never give up. When faced with annihilation, we endure. When confronted with the impossible, we innovate. It is that drive, that refusal to accept defeat, that makes us who we are." She paused, allowing her words to settle. "You fear us not because we are unpredictable, but because we challenge the very idea of power. To you, power is strength and control. To us, it's the ability to rise, to adapt, and to overcome." The room fell silent, the weight of her words pressing on the gathered representatives. For the first time, the Galactic Assembly began to understand what humanity truly represented, not just another species among the stars, but a force driven by an indomitable will, one that couldn't be dismissed or ignored. Lin Zhao stepped forward once more, her presence commanding the attention of the entire assembly. The murmurs and debates that had filled the chamber moments ago quieted as she raised her voice, steady and resolute. "The honey badger is more than just a creature," she began, her words deliberate. "It is a microcosm of what makes Earth exceptional. Small but mighty. Underestimated but unstoppable. You've witnessed its tenacity, its refusal to surrender even in the face of overwhelming odds. That is not just the spirit of one species, it is the spirit of our planet." She paused, scanning the room. Many of the alien representatives now leaned forward, their skepticism replaced by a mix of curiosity and newfound respect. Even Zarlin, though rigid in his posture, seemed less dismissive. "We understand why you judged us," Lin Zhao continued. "We are a young species by galactic standards, bound to a fragile world with no natural defenses against the universe's harshest challenges. Our predators are not the largest, our ecosystems not the most dangerous. And yet, we've endured. We've thrived." Her voice rose slightly, not with anger but with conviction. The mistake you made, and the mistake we hope you'll reconsider, is in judging strength by appearance, power by size, and value by tradition. Strength comes in many forms. For humanity, it lies in our unity, our ingenuity, and our determination to overcome. For Earth, it lies in the honey badger and every other creature that has fought to carve out its place in an unforgiving world. She turned her gaze directly to Zarlin, her tone softening but retaining its weight. And yes, we are unpredictable. But that unpredictability is not a threat, it is our promise. A promise to face every challenge, every obstacle, with the same tenacity you saw in that simulation. We are not a species that backs down. We are a species that rises. The chamber erupted into hushed conversation once more. Representatives conferred with their aides, exchanging glances and nodding in agreement. Lin Zhao stepped back, allowing her words to sink in as the High Arbiter called for order. "We will now vote," Zarlin announced, his tone clipped but professional. The motion, to recognize humanity as a respected contender within the Galactic Assembly. Representatives, cast your decisions. One by one, the holographic displays above each representative's seat lit up, showing their votes. Green lights began to dominate the room. Even those who had mocked humanity earlier now cast their votes in favor, their perspectives forever altered by what they had seen and heard. Finally, Zarlin's light flickered, green. Though reluctant, he could not deny what had become evident. "The motion passes unanimously," Zarlin declared, his voice begrudging yet firm. "Humanity is acknowledged as a respected member of the Galactic Assembly." Applause rippled through the chamber. Lin Zhao allowed herself a small smile, but her composure remained intact. The moment wasn't about triumph but understanding. She gave a respectful nod to the assembly before addressing them one last time. "Thank you," she said simply. "Not just for the recognition, but for taking the time to see beyond the surface. We look forward to working with each of you, not as rivals, but as partners." As the assembly began to disperse, representatives approached Lin Zhao, some offering congratulations, others expressing curiosity about Earth's other species. A few even requested introductions to the honey badger. Lin Zhao answered with grace, never losing her calm demeanor. In the shadows of the chamber, Zarlin spoke quietly to Vorix. "They're dangerous," he muttered, though his tone lacked the sharpness it had held before. "Not because of their strength, but because of their unpredictability. Humans don't follow the rules." Vorix inclined his head, his analytical mind already working. "Perhaps that's precisely why they'll thrive in this galaxy." As the last of the representatives departed, Lin Zhao lingered, her gaze sweeping over the now empty chamber. She allowed herself a brief moment of satisfaction, whispering to herself, "Never underestimate Earth. We've got more than just honey badgers." With that, she turned and walked away, the faint trace of a smile on her face. Somewhere in the depths of the Galactic Assembly's archives, whispers of new plans began to circulate. Earth was no longer an afterthought, but a factor, one that could not be ignored. And somewhere on Earth, another creature, just as unassuming and just as formidable, awaited its moment to surprise the galaxy.